Hi, I'm Sal with Medicaid Ohio. Today's video is going to be about PTSD and how incorporating psychoactive drugs into treatment could be very real and effective. For years, these substances have been publicly stigmatized and criminalized while we developed subconscious anxieties about them. From suggestions like cannabis turning you into a murderer to MDMA supposedly putting holes in your brain. Both of these falsifications being spread by the federal government, by the way. For example, many know that in the early 1900s, cannabis was criminalized to a gruesome degree. This was led by none other than the first commissioner of the U.S. Treasury's Department Federal Bureau of Narcotics, Harry Anslinger. He held offices during the presidents of Hoover, Roosevelt, Truman, Eisenhower, and Kennedy. That's 32 years. He then held office as the U.S. representative to the United Nations Narcotics Commission for 2 years. And one of the many stories he fixated on was the case of Victor Licata. Victor Licata unfortunately murdered his family with an axe, and he supposedly had cannabis in his system while he did it. The big story basically was that Licata was driven to psychosis by the weed, and that was apparently what led to the murder of his family. This of course was completely not the case. It was discovered many years later that he had never even used the substance, there was no proof of it, and that Licata had a history of schizophrenia in his family. So yeah, along with a campaign of racist propaganda and fear-mongering, cannabis was soon outlawed and was a common fear among the American people. Now, nearly 100 years have passed since cannabis was originally outlawed, and multiple states have a legal cannabis presence of some sort. I mean, hell, in 2018, the U.S. Farm Bill was signed, which made all products derived from hemp federally legal. The truth is, several banned substances have been claimed to induce positive mental health benefits for hundreds of years. And some psychoactives and psychedelics are even used in ritualistic settings. So let's focus in and learn a little bit about psychoactive drugs and how they can be used to help PTSD patients. So what is PTSD? PTSD is short for post-traumatic stress disorder, a term used to describe an array of negative symptoms stemming from a traumatic situation or event. These can range from panic attacks to flashbacks to self-destructive behavior and much more. Between 70 and 89% of people experience a traumatic event in their lifetime, and around 9% of people actually receive a PTSD diagnosis. This means that in just America alone, over 12 million adults a year are diagnosed with PTSD. This is of course not including children who go misdiagnosed or undiagnosed, or adults who don't get treatment because of financial or other reasons. So some common treatments for post-traumatic stress include cognitive processing therapy and exposure therapy combined with selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, or SSRIs. SSRIs do achieve about a 60% response rate overall in patients with PTSD. However, only 20 or 30% of patients actually reach complete remission of symptoms. Here's where psychoactives could come into play. So let's start here. This has a little bit more pushback to it publicly, so I want to get over that hill while we're here. Hallucinogens are a class of psychoactive substances and chemicals that alter perception and mood by engaging in multiple cognitive processes. These include lysergic acid diethylamide, methylene dioxymethamphetamine, dimethyltryptamine, psilocybin, ketamine, and ayahuasca. Psilocybin mushrooms have been one of the more promising hallucinogens as far as treating PTSD. Numerous trials have yielded positive results. However, more in-depth clinical research is still needed. Studies have shown that when doses of classic psychedelics are administered to patients, they're more likely to feel empathetic, emotionally in touch, and introspective, all things important to a successful journey in therapy. This leads me to ketamine, which has actually been shown to help patients process traumatic events. And it can even help with receptiveness to therapy, and I can't express how huge this is. MDMA and LSD have also been seen to serve as a spark in the process for psychotherapy. Something I personally like about these studies is that a lot of them are done in more aesthetically pleasing environments with good music playing and 2 or 3 therapists around to really create a good environment and drive good conversation and break those walls down. These treatments really seem to be about making the patient comfortable, which I like. Unsurprisingly, cannabis is up here. Now, even more unsurprisingly, this is new research. Separate studies from both 2020 and 2021, scientists saw both THC and CBD provide a real immeasurable change in panic, fear, and anxiety when placed in situations designed to trigger fear receptors. One of the studies were done in 3 groups, and I'm looking at my notes to get this right. The first group had healthy controls who had not been exposed to trauma. The second group had trauma-exposed adults without PTSD diagnosed. And then the third group had trauma-exposed adults with diagnosed PTSD. All 3 of the groups had the same results. All of the people in the trial who were treated with THC had lowered threat-related activity in their brain, specifically in a part called the amygdala, which becomes hyperactive when somebody has PTSD. It's also worth noting that in a number of states which have a medical cannabis program, PTSD is included on the list of qualifying conditions. So to conclude, there are a number of different methods of targeting PTSD, but psychoactive substances and hallucinogens definitely have a place in this part of society. Billions struggle every day with trauma, stress, anxiety, obsessive thoughts, fear, panic, and much more. And these were just some of the ways we could use psychedelics to improve and better understand our mental health. Make sure you click the link below and subscribe to the Medicaid Ohio newsletter, as well as subscribing to the channel and leaving a like and comment, letting us know how you feel about the video. A share would go a long way for us. We would really appreciate it. We're trying to grow this channel and really spread knowledge about cannabis. So yeah, I'm Sal with Medicaid Ohio, and thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.